Let's talk about Ball. Let's talk about, the OG gods, the sun. Boy, gallons of blood we poured into the sun. Nothing happened.
That's why it burns so hot now.
Oh, that's why it's still going. Okay, so
Yeah.
it did work.
It did work.
Welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name's Jordan Dahl.
I am Roger Norquist.
Today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you, as ever, by Monstroco. On the 5th day of Christmas, Monstroco gave to me five golden things. Monstroco, 5 golden things for the 5th day of Christmas. 9 vampires skating, 7 elder gods a wailing, 10 screamers screaming not included.
I'm on the subscription plan for it, though, so I get all of that.
Ooh, you should get a 6th golden thing, actually, on the 5th day. But you can't tell anybody.
No,
and
it's my secret.
As ever, the golden thing cannot be understood or described by human minds. But you have them.
I will have them. We're only on the 3rd day.
Or do they have you? Expect 5 golden things this 5th day of Christmas from Monstroco. Holiday.
What?
The
Now-
fuck?
Christmas, there's many rituals of it. What's the 12 days from? Is that a British thing, or is that like one of the weird German ones?
I'm
or-
sure there's a lot of history about it. I imagine it goes back pretty far. Lately I've been noticing how not Christian Christmas is.
It's one of the most pagan, baby.
It's so non-Christian that it's like it frustrates me that it becomes, the reason for the season. Like they so totally took this thing and they were like, yeah, trees inside, gift giving, sharing of resources, various specters delivering punishment or benefit based on how you've been throughout the year. That's Jesus. Like, I don't think
Jesus
it
does that.
is.
Doesn't sound like him.
It makes me sad because there's like a certain contingent that like, I love Christmas. I love Christmas time. But like I said, I'm not religious. And yet I still feel that spirit of banding together in the deep winter time. And I understand what moved people to want something like that in the first place. And the fact that like, if I say that I love Christmas, people will assume that I'm like Christian.
Yeah.
It bugs me. And I want to take back Christmas.
Take it back for the sex.
Take it
That's
back
short for secular.
Take it back for humanity. Take it back for, just the spirit of banding together in the deep cold and sharing what little food you had, as opposed to this, a corrupt church that came along and put the hat on and was like, this is ours. It's ours.
The Octave.
They tried to do it to Halloween.
They're trying, but we'll win that war. The Octave, or the 8th day, is New Year's Day and the Feast of the Circumcision.
Okay, so where everybody eats foreskins?
Yeah, the day Jesus was circumcised according to the faith.
Fun, worthy of celebration. Christmas has been compounded with all kinds of religious frillies and things, but I think everybody should remember that Christmas is for everyone. We can all come in here. Get out of there.
Especially American Christmas, where it's just about spending too much money you don't have on gifts for friends that you love too much.
It's the time of year when the world falls in love.
Remember when we fell in love?
Window pane, something inside, and Santa Claus is representative of ancient gods of generosity.
And then we broke up on the 11th day of Christmas, which is, of course, celebration of the Great Break, in which, I don't know their
Jesus broke
names.
up with God.
I was going to say their parents, but it was escaping me. But yeah, they took a break because everyone was tired.
Mary and Joseph?
Yeah, Mary and Joseph with his
broke
dream
up.
coat.
They broke up because Joseph found out his wife had been fucking God.
Yeah. They got back together. They worked through it, but
Is he
that
bigger
was
than me? Well, he is God.
yes and no. He is everywhere and nowhere.
My man puts the O in Omega.
Ooh.
Okay, folks, that's enough blaspheming for the top of one episode, or so you might think. Except when it comes to my segment for the day, which I'm going to
Start
go
it.
ahead and do first.
Make it happen. Don't forget our plugs. We
Oh
do
yeah, let's
plugs
do the
up
plugs,
front.
guys. YouTube, werewolfradar.com, werewolf radar, or wait, patreon.com/werewolf
Yes.
radar. You can hit up all of that shit. And you can find us anywhere on the internet if you plug the words werewolf and radar into your internet searching machine. Today, I received a book for Christmas
Yeah.
from the Werewolf Radar Library. This is an illustrated book of witchcraft, a handbook of magic spells and potions. There is an invocation at the beginning of the book that activates the book, so to speak. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that part. These spells that I'm about to read from you from the spell book are for educational purposes only. I am not invoking anything by sharing with you these spells. Now, Roger.
Yes.
This is a book by Melissa West. It's an illustrated book of spells from a number of different sources. The Werewolf Radar Library generously gifted this to me for Christmas. Thank you so much. Taking back Christmas. Here are some spells that I would like you to pick from. Categories.
I like.
Right? I'm going to read them all. There's about 12 of them. And then
Okay.
afterwards, I want you to tell me which ones you want to hear.
Dick size. I'm looking for wider.
So I'm looking for skinnier. This thing can't get through the subway gate. We have safekeeping spells.
Okay.
We have healing spells and potions. We have spells against enemies. We have counter spells. We have luck and fortune spells, love and matchmaking spells, weather and earth spells. Spells to cast on animals, power spells, communicating with the dead, list of symbols and omens, conjurations by day, and those are the spells we have to pick from.
We got to choose the best spell from D&D.
Okay.
Talk to dead.
Okay. We may need to communicate with the dead. Let's go page 181 and see what is recommended for that. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Everybody okay out there?
Thinking about talking to the dead. I got a grandma that it's time to finally settle the score with.
Oh, it's for an argument. That's a good move.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often.
Some people are all like, I want to hear Mima's voice again.
Okay.
And I'm all like, I want to make sure she knows I'm right.
This goes hard right out of the gate. Number 1, for necromancy, the necromancer's ritual.
Okay. And that's why though. Are we talking full resurrection?
Let's read on.
Okay, sorry, go on.
Those who are desirous to raise up any souls of the dead ought to do it in the places wherein these souls were most known to be conversant, had some kind of affection for in times past, or impress upon them in their life. So you might try to raise them in their sitting room, at the GameStop where they worked.
This is going to be awkward for the new residents of their house.
Nope. Just tell them you're here, flash the spell book, show them your credentials.
I'm casting a spell, sir.
Yeah. And if they try to stop you, just make an arcane gesture with your hand and mutter some nonsense. They'll clear out. Okay, so you want to find a place where the soul was known to linger in life. And since the souls of the dead are not easily raised up, except the souls of those we know to be evil, or to have perished by a violent death, or whose bodies want a right and due burial, the places oft befitting these souls are churchyards and those places wherein there was the execution of criminal judgments or public slaughters of men and women.
Well, I'm in Colorado, so I can just go outside and be just fine.
Yeah, any nearby tree. Allure the said souls by those things that move. Actually, Colorado's pretty good. It's not the South, but it's not great.
Oh, I meant native massacre.
Oh, yeah. So it is the South,
Yeah,
kind
it's
of.
a different type of South.
Yeah. Allure the said souls by those things that move the very harmony of the soul, as well as the imaginative, rational, and intellectual, such as voices, songs, sound, enchantments, and religious rites, which may very commodiously be administered hereunto. So as I understand this,
Yes.
the goal is to move the soul itself. You're trying to do something that would stir the soul that you're trying to contact.
Okay.
It can be voices, it can be songs, sound, enchantments, and religious rites. I think, calling out someone's name probably would get a response, maybe some items that were um, precious to them, although you want to be careful with that because it's not mentioned, so that might be for a different ritual.
I would play Neil Diamond
Of
albums.
course. Shiloh, when I was young, I used to call my friends and we'd haunt.
Is that a Neil Diamond song?
Yeah, but it's about a dog, not about
Oh.
haunting. Shiloh says, I'd love to be with you if he had the time. It's a great song, Shiloh. In raising up these souls, perfume them with new blood and with meat, eggs, milk, honey, oil, and such like things, which give the souls a means to receive their bodies.
They need life force.
So that's the necromancer's ritual for conjuring forth a soul. I imagine that there are other rituals that can be helped to place that soul into a vessel or a phylactery of your choosing.
I knew it became straight witchcraft when it then went, and then you're gonna need some blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a little bit more than just like the Wiccan, get some candle magic type shit.
Yeah. Here's another one. This says to speak to the dead with ghost water. This is a hoodoo charm. To speak to the dead, go to the graveyard at night. Place a jar of water that came from the earth on the grave of the spirit you want to communicate with. If you are seeking peace, place the water on a person of peace. If you need protection, place the water on a soldier. At dawn, replace the water with 3 pennies and an offering of rum. Use the ghost water in your ceremonies.
Okay. It's like doing two things at once. You're making some ritual water, and then you're making, a spirit to protect you if you want.
So let's check in on another category. I'm interested in spells to cast on animals.
Oh,
I want to be able to talk to my dog.
Yeah, or make them littler, even cuter,
Sure. A little sweetie pie?
Yes.
Okay, number 1, to keep pigeons safe and keep them from escaping. This is a gypsy spell. To prevent pigeons from deserting the pigeon coops or dovecots, also that no pigeon hawk can catch them, let the pigeons be put into the cot on a Friday and pluck off 2 feathers from the right wing of every pigeon before they are left to fly into the coop. Fasten these feathers by a tack in the coop and place some stonewort or chickweed into the pigeon's drinking water. As long as the feathers remain in the coop, no pigeon will desert and no hawk will catch them.
Okay.
There you go for all you pigeon heads out there.
Pigeons are adorable. I don't get birds. They're like reptiles to me. Can't understand what they're saying. Even the parrots that speak better English than me,
even when they're saying,
get it.
Roger.
But I hear pigeons.
Release me. I shall grant your wish.
And I let them go, and then the owner of the house gets very upset.
But you get a wish.
But pigeons they're adorable pets.
They're adorable. Birds are adorable. One of the most dangerous things about the internet is that sometimes it makes getting a bird seem like a good idea. And it's not. It's the birds that you see on the internet, they are being filmed and photographed in quiet, rare moments of peace.
They're not getting a bird.
That's what I'm telling everyone.
I'm just reinforcing.
Yeah, birds are a lot to take care of. On
Well,
top
and
of that, they
they're
beg
just
for freedom.
They're screeching
They're
monstrosities.
screeching
They
monstrosities.
hate you. They
You can
pinch your
get
toes. You're
you
their
can get
captor.
you can get salmonella from them.
You can get shot by them.
You can get shot by them. They're masters with a gun. They're akimbo style.
Here's the thing. If you do have a bird and you love it, and your bird has gone lost, here's a spell to find a lost animal. This is from the American Witches' Incantations.
Okay.
At dusk, go to a crossroads and face the setting sun. Bow at the waist 9 times while calling to the animal, then bow at the waist 9 times while reciting. God above, as you called forth the fish in the sea, birds in the air, and fauna on the land, bring forth your brother or sister, name of animal. So if this was a boy peacock named Gulliver, you would say, bring forth your brother, Gulliver. Then bow 9 final times while calling the animal once more. Before leaving the crossroads, take 10 steps backward without looking behind you, then immediately turn around and go directly to your home before sunset. So there you go. It is very interesting to me how many of these spells and rituals still involve like Christian imagery and stuff like that. It's very much
They've been Christianized a little bit.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, and that seems to be the theme of this episode is how widespread the Christian, what would you call it? Imperialism.
Yeah, I
really
would call it the
touched.
Second Byzantine Empire.
How much it has just rolled over everything and touched everything in the West, at least.
I mean, it is a Germans especially don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
They like to tell you what to do.
Unless you tell them that Christmas is Jesus' birthday, they're like, oh my God, I almost forgot his birthday. If there's anything they love more than their deeply held traditions, it's a birthday that they missed.
But it really seems to be that it shows a negotiation between the two to where it was all like, what are you talking about? We celebrate the midwinter day.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, by the way, that's also Jesus's birthday if you want to celebrate the two together.
And it seems that in thousands of years, everybody has been like, yeah, okay, we'll do that. And then Christmas rolls around and they're like, Santa, the god of presents, will visit us if we are good. Let us put up the tree inside to trick him in. Okay. Here's a spell against furious beasts. This is an American magician spell. Repeat reverently and with sincere faith the following words, and you shall be protected in the hour of danger from furious beasts. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither halt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of field, the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. I'm going to read that again.
Yes, please.
At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither halt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee.
Now I say that in the morning before I go out, as opposed to when the tiger's jumping at my throat.
The second one. Are you hunkering in a ditch, hiding from the tiger?
Okay, so it's not an all-day thing. It's we're gonna make a boom.
Yeah. This is repeat reverently and with sincere faith the following words, and you shall be protected in the hour of danger from furious beasts.
And a magician said that.
Yeah.
All right, it must have worked for him. How'd he die?
Ladies and gentlemen, move not. A raging bull has come into the theater.
No, all repeat after me.
Okay, I got 2 more from you from this because this is where I opened the book for the first time and it made me laugh. So next up, this is an American witch's ritual to beckon snakes for answers.
That's what I'm talking about. Interrogating the true suspect.
All right, Snake, where are my keys? Okay. To call upon the wisdom of snakes, place sprigs of lavender in a circle at nighttime and draw the image of a snake inside. Issue a call to the spirit of snakes. Explain what you need to know and why you have called them forth. Go straight to bed and receive an answer in your dreams.
So the snake's dream walking?
Yeah, the spirit of snakes. This is kind of like Snake Jesus, Snake God.
Okay.
You're calling out to?
Sounds like a pretty cool dude.
And it says, explain what you need to know and why you have called them forth. So make sure to do that. The very next spell is to halt a snake. So you did the speak to snake spell, and it worked a little too well.
Gotcha.
Now you need to turn to an ancient Macedonian spell to halt a snake. To stop a serpent coming towards thee, when thou seest it coming, say these words. Moses set a javelin, deliverer from harmful things, upon a column and a rod in the form of a cross, and upon it he tied an earth-crawling serpent, and thereby triumphed over evil. Wherefore we shall sing to Christ our God, for he has been glorified.
I got to remember all of that. In the moment of a snake coming upon me, I gotta halt it, and I gotta say 4 lines of prose.
Boy, 4 is hopeful. That's like 6 at least. Yeah, but I mean, are you a powerful cleric or not? Are you a Macedonian 6th-level cleric of snake banishment?
I like to call myself a level 6 cleric.
You do quite often. That's how you get that Macedonian cleric discount at Denny's.
It's 50%.
That's huge.
I don't know why.
It's huge. It's ridiculously huge. Ever since they were saved from snakes that one time. Okay. I mean, I think we would be remiss if we didn't check out some spells against enemies.
Yes, because we all have enemies. I'm making a bunch at work because the holidays make them all pissy.
And then maybe, do you want to hear weather and earth spells?
I would like to control the weather against those who I call my enemies.
Okay, great.
I would like to make their...
Counterspell is pretty important to have in the list.
Counterspell's good, but that's like high-level magic.
Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll check out spells against enemies. Not that anybody should do this thing. Remember, any witchcraft that you purvey upon others will be revisited upon you threefold.
Come on, what is this? Prosperity Bible? Get out of here with your
I've been told somewhere, but this is just for reference. And then we'll tell you how to counterspell it if somebody does that to you.
That's when you can come at them with a knife.
Spells against enemies.
Counterspell. Knife.
The picture is incredible.
All right. Put it up there.
I don't know if you can see this, but
oh, I see this gentleman's eye.
And there's the witch. That's apparently us. This is an enemy. Okay. To ward off enemies. This is an American magician's incantation. Repeat reverently and with sincere faith the following words, and you shall be protected in the hour of danger. Once again, this is a thing that you have to say when you're encountering the enemies. You're hunkered in your house, and Billy Badnuts is coming to give you a wedgie.
Oh, no!
Behold, I will trust and not be afraid, for stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And behold, at eventide trouble, and before the morning is not, this in the portion of them that spoils us. And that'll take, Billy Badnuts will be like, oh, I forgot my ass-kicking medicine back at home.
All right, that's a good reflection spell for sure.
Now, your partner is of Tuscan heritage, correctly?
My people are Tuscan heritage?
Your partner. No, Sicilian.
Sardinian.
Sardinian, boy, that was embarrassing for everybody. Apologies, Sakai.
No, I'll edit out to be only the perfect one.
Fine.
But then I'll leave this extra talk so people will be like, what?
Well, this is a Tuscan witch's charm, so it really makes no difference. She's got some
Tuscan inside of her.
Okay.
I mean, all Italians do.
Sure, the tusks. They grow in the wintertime.
She shaves them. It looks very fashionable.
This is a spell to injure a foe.
Nice.
From a Tuscan Witch's Charm. I got 2 Tuscan Witch's Charms for you here. To make a man or woman suffer, take a peppercorn such as is found in the fields and boil it with the hair of your foe and recite. I do not boil the hair alone, but all these things together thrown, with his heart and soul that he may perish and forever be, only in witch's company. Now that's a good spell.
That's a good spell. I always wonder, though, on spells like these, to where if I'm close enough to take their hair, why don't I just give them the old knife in the back?
Well, it's a lot easier to, do a little spell, and then you can be like, hey, I didn't knife him in the back.
Fair.
Crows stole his bones. That didn't have anything to do with me. Okay, here's another Tuscan Witch's Charm, to make an enemy suffer.
Nice. Give him a little.
It sounds like you don't want to be fucking with Tuscan witches. This is how a Tuscan witch might cause an enemy to suffer. To cause suffering in an enemy, obtain a toad as well as some of the hairs of your victim. So it's very hair-based.
It is, and I get it.
Tie them to the left leg of the toad and put the animal in a covered pot. As it suffers, the enemy will suffer. When it dies, he will die.
Oh, geez.
But if you wish your enemy only to suffer and not die, remove the hair from the leg of the toad and let it go.
This is some powerful spell right there.
Truly.
It's making an innocent being suffer to make a guilty party suffer.
Yeah. Here's a Hindu incantation for depriving enemies of their strength. To deprive enemies of their strength, recite, as the rising sun takes away the luster of the stars, thus do I take away the strength of both the women and men who hate me. As many enemies as ye are, looking out against me, as I come on of those who hate me, do I take away your strength, as the sun takes away the strength of persons sleep as it rises.
This one I can get behind.
It's pretty good.
Just making them a little bit weaker.
Yeah.
That way, the day of the arm wrestling competition, I will dominate them. I will go over the top.
I was going to say this is for the use of soccer gambling purposes only. Okay, counter spell.
The whole Afghan Pakistani team seems very tired, Phil.
And then one of them has a snake coming out of his eyes. Okay, these are counter spells. Ready?
Yes.
So,
let's bring that May I deck to the front.
Let's say that you had the previous charm cast upon you to sap your strength by an ancient Hindu incantation.
I've been so weak, I couldn't lift my coffee earlier. I had to put it in a smaller cup.
You find out who's been casting that on you.
Okay.
It's Terry, the swim coach.
He has never liked me.
Here's how you can use a counter spell in ancient Hindu incantation against one who practices hostile magic. So Terry, you've been using hostile magic on us because you are trying to get us kicked off of the swim team. You're going to get a taste of this one. To counter a curse from a hostile force, recite. This is a long one, hang on. The thousand-eyed curse, having yoked his chariot, has come hither, seeking out him who curses me as a wolf, the house of him who owns sheep. Avoid us, O curse, as a burning fire avoids a lake. Strike here he who curses us, as the lightning of heaven the tree. He who shall curse us when we do not curse, and he that shall curse us when we do curse, him I hurl to death as a bone to a dog upon the ground.
Savage.
That is fucking hard as shit.
Yeah. And then that's just gonna stop anything. Like I've been so weak. As you said, my other partner here, my other player of the soccer has got a snake coming out of his eye. I do this and it's gone. Nice.
All of a sudden, I mean, if we're using the swim team analogy, you're swimming like it was freshman year. And Terry fell in the water and his pants fell down and everybody saw it. It was hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
He crapped him. He crapped in the pool. They had to close it down for a day. Okay. Here's a European magician spell against witches. That's all it says, against witches. To ward off witches, remember to purify thy home with the branches of cypress and of pine, then pronounce at midnight, who art thou, O witch who seekest me? Thou hast taken the road, thou hast come after me, thou hast sought me continually for my destruction. Thou hast continually plotted evil against me, thou hast encompassed me, thou hast sought me out, thou hast gone forth and followed my steps. But I, by the command of the Queen Ishtar, am clothed in terror, am armed in fierceness, am arrayed with might and the sword. I make thee tremble. I make thee run afraid. I drive thee out. I spy thee out. I cause thy name to be known among men. I cause thy house to be seen among men. I cause thy spells to be heard among men. I cause thy evil perfumes to be smelt among men. I unclothe thy wickedness and evil, and bring your sorceries to naught. It is not I, but Nanakanisura, mistress of witches, and the queen of heaven, Ishtar, who command thee.
That is a lot.
It's cool. It gave me goosebumps.
And that was a magician too?
That's some good old counterspelling right there.
That was the Eastern magician. That had some flair to it. That was the
European magician, yeah.
I would picture that on stage as, you know, the witch's magic is stopping his pick a card trick.
Yeah. Yeah, truly. I like that you're imagining these all as stage magicians.
Are they not? What's a European magician? Are they a little bit?
I think you're talking like a soothsayer or so. What that guy who let the other guy bang his wife because he said that angels told him. You know, a wizard of sorts.
I'm very much picturing David Copperfield.
I like that a lot more.
And these guys are just European.
Yeah, and he's like, guys, before I make the Statue of Liberty disappear, there's this witch.
Yeah.
I got to do some shit up here real quick. And then he says all of that, and one old woman in the audience goes, "Damn it!" and leaves the concert. Okay, this is a fun one. This is a gypsy charm to make sure that no witch may leave a church.
Ooh,
so
get him trapped in there. Then you set it on fire.
Basically, the witch has entered the church somehow. This is kind of
Please
a scene
don't burn
where
the church or the witches.
Where the gypsy magician is like, one among you is a witch. And then he says this, and they're trapped inside, you know?
Yeah.
So that no witch may leave a church, purchase a pair of new shoes, grease them on Saturday with grease on the outer sole, then put them on and walk to the church. And no witch can find the way out of the church without you proceeding before her.
Like what? They just get confused on what door's the exit?
Something about the enchantment of having brand new greased shoes. The first day that you wear them is to church. I don't know.
And then it's the outside of it.
Question the intricate code of the universe and how to hack it.
Yeah, right. This is some of that. I can beat Super Mario Brothers 3 in 3 seconds.
Yeah, it works like this. Nobody knows why. Okay, so here's a good one. This is a counterspell against fairy influence. This is a Gaelic spell. To protect yourself or one's home against fairy influence, call out, "We accept their protection. We repudiate their evil tricks. May their backs be to us, their faces from us, through merit of the passion and death of our Savior."
My savior is Zalthor. Who's yours?
Me?
Yeah.
It changes day to day.
Oh, that's fresh. That must never get boring.
The kindness inherent to the human soul, I suppose. That I believe. Okay, so that is a Gaelic spell against fairy influence, Christian overtones again, largely historically because Christianity replaced the fairy faith in the UK. And this would have been from that time when, you know, people were like, so you got problems with fairies? You don't have to give them the meat of your child. just let Jesus come fight them.
Jesus will
And the
fight
people
for
did.
you.
So this is one more counter spell. This is a necromancer spell against hordes of demons and other evil influences.
Nice. This is a wartime spell with some
Yeah.
AoE damage.
This is some battle mage stuff. And get ready. I'm gonna read it as such.
I'll
As a
play
spell,
some rock music.
as it can you?
Not and share it, but I can
Okay.
add it to it.
Okay.
Pretend some weird fast Dragon Force triumphant music
Hell
is
yeah.
playing.
Great. Yeah. Some
I'll
glory
pantomime a
hammer.
little.
As a spell against demon hordes and other influences, pronounce, arise, arise, go far away, be shamed, flee, flee, turn around, go, arise and go far away. Your wickedness may rise to heaven like smoke. Arise and leave my body. From my body depart in shame. From my body flee. Turn away from my body. Go away from my body. Do not return to my body. Do not come near my body. Do not approach my body. Do not throng around my body. Be commanded by Shamash the Mighty. Be commanded by Enki, Lord of all. Be commanded by Marduk, the great magician of the gods. Be commanded by the god of fire, your destroyer. May you be held back from my body.
Ugh. That was powerful.
Yeah.
I do like how a certain part of it was just screaming at the demon.
A lot of it kind of felt like a Disturbed song.
For sure.
Away from my body. Do not return to my body. Sucker, come up. Do not come near my body. Yeah, pretty sick necromancer spell for blasting demons. We're gonna touch one more.
Jordan found something.
So we can do the weather and earth spells, of which
Sure.
there are 143.
Sure.
Or we can switch straight to power spells.
I would like more power. I would
we gotta see what power
I would
spells
like
are about, right?
political power.
These are the ones
I
that
would
you
like
scream
to
on a
raise
mountaintop.
a small army
Okay.
against the Montanan government.
Okay.
Call it Roger Tanya.
What's going on in Montana? You just want a place to call your own.
Yeah, no one's gonna miss it. What,
Okay,
a bunch
let's
of
see.
cattle herders?
Tell me which of these spells would be best for your designs.
Okay.
To dream of the future, to find something lost, to open locks,
Okay.
to spellbind something,
Okay.
to see in the darkest night, to see what others cannot, that others cannot see you, how to discern secrets and invisible things, to make oneself invisible, to make objects levitate, for flying, for making a truth serum, for making a woman disclose her secrets,
Ooh.
to read minds. Seems pretty good for your political aspirations.
It does.
Oh, but so does this one. To bring about submission to one's will.
That's the one.
Okay.
Because then I don't even need to run for office. I just show up
Yeah.
on inauguration day and I make them submit. Live on
Man.
television, Jordan.
I got two more for you that are really going to help you with this.
The Denver City Council will submit to me, and I alone shall be Denver's council.
Yeah, the Witch Lord of Denver. I've seen the portents. Okay. This is an ancient Hindu incantation to bring about submission to one's will. To bring about submission to one's will, and I feel like I have to say this as a precaution. Don't do any of this unless you're a practicing wizard, witch, or warlock, or you know what you're doing. Although
Yes.
something tells me that those types of people probably won't be using this type of magic because you dabble, you get dealt, homie. So here we go. To bring about submission to one's will, an ancient Hindu incantation. Your minds, your purposes, your plans do we cause to bend. Ye persons yonder that are devoted to other purposes, we cause you to comply. With my mind do I seize your minds. Do ye with your thoughts follow my thought. I place your hearts in my control. Come ye, directing your way after my course. I have called upon heaven and earth. I have called upon the goddess Sarasvati. I have called upon both Indra and Agni. May we succeed in this, O Sarasvati. Wow. So a man named Roger Norquist just said that on
Yes.
live television to the
Yes.
Colorado Congress, and they have been seized in some sort of charm person spell, and they are swearing him in as the first Witch Lord of Denver. The Witch Lord has made a great proclamation. He wants a giant PlayStation 5 to be built in the shape of Lucifer, the horrible, deadly horse of Denver lore.
Yes.
People say it's impossible. It cannot be done. And so the Witch Lord uses an American magician's charm that one shall not be denied anything.
Also, Lucifer is a physical copy only PS5, and you put the disc in his butt.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And this is how you will get that. This is to not be denied anything. Take a rooster, 3 years old, throw it into a new earthenware pot and pierce it through. Then put it into an ant's hill and let it remain until the 9th day thereafter. Then take it out again, and you will find in its head a white stone. Carry it on your person, and nobody will deny you anything.
Can you imagine after I cast my spell against Congress, was declared the Witch Lord of Denver, I then went, everyone,
Now
in
hang
9
on.
days, I'll have something for you.
I'll have my official PlayStation Lucifer version, limited edition Death Horse.
I would also demand that the price of shawarma be lower, and all restaurants have to serve it.
There you go. He holds the white stone.
I hold the white stone. On
The
top
Witch
of
Lord of
that,
Denver.
Congress declared me your lord.
However,
Yes.
the people of Montana hired a witch hunter, a counter witch of hexed blood. Your spells do not affect them. They have a way to destroy you. They are sanctioned by the witch hunter general and the Catholic Church. It's a bad situation for you.
What do I do?
You would probably want to transform into an animal to get away. Probably a magnificent eagle or a dark and sultry crow or some sort of bird so you can fly away. So if
Ooh,
that
that'd
is
be
the
cool.
case, here's an American witch's spell to be transformed into an animal. To be
I'd be a
transformed
canary.
into an animal, either wild or domestic, you must first eat and think like the animal to increase the potency of the spell. So
That's
if you want
good.
to be a canary, you'd be eating seeds, hanging out in a mine, probably whistling a lot.
I choose the good seed Dave's bread because it's got the most seeds, so I
there
feel
you
I'm
go, there
halfway
you go.
there.
Place hair or feathers or scales from the animal you want to be transformed into onto a flat stone. With a blessed or magic knife, slice the hair into as many pieces as possible while reciting, in your case, this would be feathers. No more human strife. I reject this body to be a canary. With this spell and knife, so mote it be. And you would replace canary with whatever animal you're trying to shape change into, if that is different in your case.
My second one would be a velociraptor. We have its feathers. We can make this happen.
Heat the hair with sage leaves in water to make a tea. Then drink it before it cools. Go to sleep where the animal sleeps.
Canary, I would need a small cage. Just stick my head in there.
Yeah. And when you wake up, you will be that canary,
Okay.
I think.
Or just my head and the body's still normal because I couldn't fit it in the cage.
Oh, God, what is it?
That's
It's got to be a spell in here for that. So there you have it, folk. There is some collected incantations and spells from around the world from Witchcraft, a handbook of magic spells and potions by Anastasia Greywolf. I can only imagine that we are going to be reading from this a few more times because that was a lot of fun.
I would like to get to the episode when we start making potions. And I think we should all buy the ingredients and make the potion.
We almost made a potion, and I didn't choose it because I didn't have the potion stuff necessary. But let me tell you, gonna be drinking a lot of hair
Yeah, then we should make some potions on the air and drink them in front of us.
on the hair.
Cheesebug, get ready to make some potions. You're joining us.
Now, the speaking skull has been vibrating with glee since I started talking, so I'm going to go ahead and slide that over to you, and you can do your segment with the Yuletide energies that are flowing off of this thing.
I am hearing sleigh bells, maybe?
Yeah, yeah.
They're on my skylight, and well, they fell through the skylight, and now I have a repair. Thanks, speaking skull. Well, you can't be too mad at it because it will curse you.
That's true. It's not a good idea to get mad at it. I cannot recommend highly enough, if we're speaking of Christmas folklore, the movie Red One. I can't believe I'm saying it. It was fucking incredible. It's a tight script. It has everything I should hate about a movie. And it fucking rocked. If you are a folklore wonk in the same vein as me, and you're looking for a fun and wacky Christmas movie that doesn't take itself too seriously while at the same time weirdly taking itself way too seriously, check out Red One. I'm surprised it was a bomb. It's crazy. Love Rare Exports. Watched that recently too, Ken.
All right. Well, the last movie I watched was Cade, A Tortured Crossing from Neil Breen.
Ah.
And when you are all ready to hear about the winged warrior and the wings she left us, I will introduce you to the greatness of that movie.
I am the winged warrior.
But for right now,
I don't know if I'm ready.
You're not ready. You need to watch Double Down. You need to watch Fateful Findings. You got a lot of text to read.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they're all 3-hour movies. So, I've been talking a lot about the pyramids. As you know, I believe last week we went over, I don't remember how it's spelled, Garong Padong. The now controversial oldest pyramid in the world. It goes back 30,000 years. Some claim it definitely does not. That's not for us to decide, except I decided and judged pretty harshly last episode.
Right.
But what do all these have in common, Jordan? Give me a guess. Make it wild.
There were Dennis Villanova.
Oh. Yeah, that's pretty high on the list, actually. But something that has more synergy between all these pyramids is that even if, for example, people claim these were built by ancient, old civilizations, even if you don't believe that and the people who made them, some people still believe that they are the technology and planning of Atlantis. And I'm going to talk to us about Atlantis. I don't think we ever really have.
We got to talk about Atlantis. You know, we all know about Atlantis. We know it as the setting of some of our favorite fighting game levels and the thing that made our uncle start drinking his own pee. But do we really know about it? And, you know, something that's been on my mind lately is a lot of people who are talking about UFOs and UAPs these days say that they are coming out of the ocean. And maybe all of our myths and legends about Atlantis are in some way an interpretation of some base in the ocean where aliens have always lived.
Well, we are going to get into some of that.
Hell yeah.
To start with, I found, and it's playing a little bit faster, a nice video from Things of Legends that I'm going to share. Please let me stop it whenever you want. But here is that. Let me move this over because I believe it projects. Zoom, you're an awful system. You know that? I'm sorry I said that, Zoom. You're doing okay. Anyway, join us in the bunker when you want. And you
Join
can
us
be
in
here.
the bunker. You can see these mistakes live.
Mistakes live instead of just hearing about them. So here is Atlantis, lost city sunk by ancient aliens from Things of Legends.
According to Plato, Atlantis is a creme de la
Can you
creme
hear
of
this?
ancient civilization.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
good.
technologically advanced that it would make modern Silicon Valley look like a Stone Age startup. But what if the gods pulling the strings were extraterrestrial tourists, passing out cosmic tech tips to the Atlanteans? That's right. According to ancient astronaut theorists, these divine beings were aliens who turned Atlantis into an interstellar
I love
innovation
the
hub
animations
that oddly
on this.
still remains a mystery. The plot thickens, however.
Our
with a
YouTube
cataclysmic
videos, I
twist.
want to be this
Perhaps an
good.
intergalactic war that sent Atlantis and all of its inhabitants plummeting into the abyss to become the infamous, legendary lost city we know it to be. Digging into the architectural marvels and military might, Plato's Atlantis wasn't just your average ancient city. With its breathtaking buildings, temples, and walls crafted from a mix of metals, including the enigmatic orichalcum, a metal that alone outshone fire itself. Atlantis was so advanced that its technology and possessions were unheard of in Plato's era.
I like how they're technologically advanced but still use Greek architecture. Tons of pillars. Some of their buildings don't have full houses or four walls because one wall is a series of
It was a
pillars.
showcase of engineering and urban planning genius, featuring intricate waterways that scream advanced civilization louder than a megaphone. And let's not overlook the writings of the Atlantean army, described as a formidable force with well-organized military might, suggesting a level of strategic and tactical sophistication that hints at a deep understanding of advanced warfare tactics, according to ancient astronaut theorists. Though Plato's narrative does, however, lack a detailed techno-thriller
That's good enough overall. So that is kind of a fun, entertaining, long short of Atlantis. Possible alien influence. They were an advanced civilization, far more advanced than anything that maybe we've built even now.
More advanced than California?
More advanced than California, Jordan. All sorts of what am I trying to say? Peoples, like alien peoples, have been said to be its inhabitants, such as the Greys, maybe even helped build it. There's one guy called, what's his name? Ben Carson? No, yes, Ben Carson.
Ben Carson?
Maybe
politician?
Maybe it's Billy Carson then.
Okay.
From Influence Minds. And he's all about the Anunnaki being Atlanteans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, come to Earth for our precious gold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But where does it come from? As I kind of cut off there, the only primary sources for Atlantis are Plato's dialogue, cites Wikipedia from Another Look at Atlantis from Lay Willie. That's not a real name. Anyway, this fake author says that the only sources that we can find of Atlantis in the period that it is supposedly is being talked about are from Timaeus and Critias. I think I'm saying that properly. All other mentions of the island are based on Plato's two dialogues. In the dialogues, this is from Timaeus, where it is related in our records how once upon a time your state stayed the course of a mighty host, which, starting from a distant point in the Atlantic Ocean, was insolently advancing to attack the whole of Europe and Asia to boot.
Oh.
That's right. Ancient Greeks had a similar phrase as when we say to boot.
What I want to know the translation now.
I would be unable to pronounce any of it. I could give it a shot. Greek can't be that different in alphabet.
I think it can.
For the ocean, there was at that time navigable. I said that insane, but I just now realize I do know what that word is. For in front of the mouth, which you Greeks call, as you say, the pillars of Heracles, that is Hercules. Hercules is the Latin form of
Right.
Heracles.
Similar guy.
Same guy. Is he? Yes. Let's say twin. There lay an island which was larger than Libya and Asia together, and it was possible for the travelers of that time to cross from it to the other islands, and from the islands to the whole of the continent over against them, which encompasses a veritable ocean. For all that we have here, lying within the mouth of which we speak, is evidently a haven having a narrow entrance, but that yonder is a real ocean, and the land surrounding it, it might mostly rightly be called, in the fullest and truest sense, a continent. Now this is Atlantis. There existed a confederation of kings of great and marvelous power, which held sway over all the island, and there are many other islands also, and parts of the continent.
Okay.
And this is from Timaeus describing Atlantis's physical natures. It was a huge island, almost a continent. I want to say like Australia type style, to where like it's well, Australia is fucking huge. I guess what, like Madagascar style land, like a huge ass fucking island right in the middle of there. It had mountains. There were kings, and something to know about the Greeks at this time, there was no Greece. Greeks consider themselves brothers, but it really was more city-states. You had Athens, you had Marathon, you had Sparta, Wisconsin. These were all states inside of the same land that we know as Greece.
Okay.
So the idea of kings ruling such great land made them, that's what they used to portray them as a superior people. They had power over their people and weren't a bunch of separated, city states that went to war every summer.
Yeah.
To show who's greater.
Sure. Like what we do, but with football.
Yes. And then in Critias, we have Socrates talking to Critias about what am I trying to say? About a superior and moralistically right society. And they all know the tale of Atlantis. Critias comes afterwards, so it's a continuation on that dialogue about Atlantis, but he wants it to be more entertaining. So Critias, or Critio, I do mean, tells this very flambastic story about Atlantis being 9,000 years before the time they're talking.
Oh.
Beyond the pillars of Heracles at the Strait of Gibraltar. The Atlanteans had conquered so much land. They were encroaching upon Athens territory. They had Libya. They had Egypt. They had Tyrrhenia, which is, I think, part of Italy. They had Italy. They had the Tyrrhenian Sea, Jordan.
They have the sea.
And everyone was becoming their slaves. And the Athenians led an alliance of resistors against the empire. And because the empire had disintegrated, kind of failed morally, some would say, in the eyes of Greece at this time, that the Athenians were able to hold strong and actually defeat the Athenian Empire, Atlantean Empire.
The Atlantean Empire with their fucking technology that's more powerful than Mars?
Yes.
Oh.
because they were morally superior. And then
Oh, I didn't realize that part.
and then afterwards, there occurred violent earthquakes and floods, and in a single day and night of misfortune, all your warlike men, this is from Critias, all your warlike men in a body sank into the earth, and the island of Atlantis in like manner disappeared into the depths of the sea. For which reason the sea in those parts is impassable and impenetrable, because there is a shoal of mud in the way, so it's very deep. And this was caused by the subsidence of the island.
Okay.
So that's the primary sources of Atlantis. We don't hear about it before, and we start hearing more of it as the centuries pass the original publication of these books.
Yeah.
It's weird to think books are that old, you know?
Yeah. Back before books were even a thing.
Yeah, it gets more and more until we hear it now when, let's go see the statistic of that. How many people in America believe in Atlantis? 57%.
Sick. I'm one of them, baby. Here's the thing. Do I think that there is a city of mermaids out there building incredible technology and keeping it from humanity? Yes. Do I think that this tales of Atlantis are based on some sort of misinterpreted explanation for something we didn't quite understand at the time, which may or may not have been extraterrestrial in origin? Yes, also. I buy it all.
You buy each and every theory, baby, and
Every single one.
And you ride enjoyingly into the sunset.
Every single one.
And this is going to be a two-parter because I have all the Atlantean facts. Not all of it. I haven't gone to a few islands I've been told to go to and start digging illegally, but
Sure, I wouldn't.
Why not? Curses?
Yeah, curses. What if you unleash the fucking the what did they call it? The Curse of Atlantis, the Destroyer of Atlantis, the big robot that destroyed everyone.
The Iron Giant.
Yeah. Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla. This is going to be a two-parter. I'm just going to go over some basic stuff. So we went over the ancient alien theory on it. We have, the Greys helping the kings of Atlantis. They were originally human. We discussed a little about how they might be alien. The Anunnaki are said to be who the Atlanteans truly are. And that kind of explains to why no one has Atlantean DNA.
I do.
Oh.
How much? I got a whole shelf of it back there. It's not for sale.
It's for drinking. But that explains that part. We went into the beginning of the ancient alien. Nope, of the Atlantean tale from Plato's dialogues about Socrates, Timaeus, and Critias. But do you know where our modern thinking comes from, Jordan?
Atlantis.
Oh. Well, I mean, yours does because of all the blood you talk to. But for Americans especially, and this is an American, the idea of Atlantis that we have right now, Jordan, is an American theory and belief. And it has spread to everywhere in the world. You might say that Atlantean theory is America's Christianity.
Oh, interesting. I would say that.
So how we understand Atlantis for the most part comes from a American congressman, Ignatius Loyally Donnelly, a Minnesotan congressperson. He was born in 1826. was a lawyer for a short time. This is from the Wikipedia. He was a lawyer for a short time.
Okay.
He
good for him.
he became an attorney general of the United States. No, he worked for someone who became the attorney general of the United States. He got into politics. He had 3 children. He moved to Minnesota after a, how would you say, financial scandal.
Sure.
You know, he
I
kind of
would call it
fled to Minnesota,
some say moved, some say fled.
where he started hanging out with utopian people, the new aged people of their times. And then after that, he led a cooperative farm as well. He was kind of
Hey.
big on the communism almost.
Okay.
And then he became a US congressman. He first was a member of the Minnesota State Senate, member of the US House of Representatives, Minnesota's
cool.
2nd District, and then was kind of ran out of politics by, as he claimed, corrupt Republicans
Yeah.
who dealt with corporate interest or
boy.
capital's wants and needs versus being independent for the people.
Oh, geez.
So
Can you
in
believe
between
it?
this time, for a year, he passionately wrote the book, and I do mean passionately. He was upset about society's degradation.
This thing is full of swears.
I'm sure the first draft had a lot of fuck you alls in it. So he was upset about how, and he was a Democrat, I'm sorry. But he was upset that his party was yielding to businesses versus people, and was really into utopian beliefs and societies, as we discussed. In 1982, he publishes the book Atlantis, The Antediluvian World,
Oh.
a book which is still being read to this day in its original form, no additions. This is the original writings of Ignatius L. Donnelly.
Cool.
And I've talked about it a lot. We've seen it in Ancient Aliens. The work that I'm doing for 90-minute video essay right now, if 120 words a minute is correct, it's time to do some editing.
Yeah.
This is where we get that the Mayan civilizations were influenced by Atlantis. Egypt was inspired by Atlantis. A lot of Greek and Roman works were a cross-continent civilization. They were crazy advanced than anything at their time. He didn't go as far as saying, yo, they have metal horses that to get them around type, you know, like more advanced than current society.
Right.
But at the time were like, I guess I would say like medieval developed versus the stoneworks of the Greeks, you know.
Right.
They had better metals, they had better ships, shit like that.
Yeah.
Better culture because they're older. It goes back to that theory to where everyone's claiming to be the children of Atlantis because they were the first civilization.
Ah, yes, okay.
He also believed that it was the original home, in fact, of an Aryan race whose red-eyed, blue-eyed descendants could be found in Ireland.
Okay. I mean, that's... Yeah.
That explains everything. Donnelly wrote that Ireland was the garden of Phobos, Hyperborea of the Western mythologists. Big on the Ireland's cool party, which I'm warming up on, you know? Ireland seems fun.
Yeah,
It just seems so cold.
Nicole went there and they told her to try the burritos, which is a joke that we always make.
Sure. Are they real and are they very bad?
They were bad. I think it was in a year where Ireland had like just got burritos.
Nice.
And
You were
everybody
there
was like,
for the
"Yeah,
for the progeny of it.
Yeah.
And then let's go over, and then I'll wrap it up because this is a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about.
Mhm.
Here are some of the authors' stated theories on Atlantis, which you might hear about. This is once again in 1882, and it has been influencing the YouTube sphere especially heavily. We have number one. There once existed an Atlantic Ocean. Nope, there once existed in the Atlantic Ocean, opposite the Mediterranean Sea, a large island, which was the remnant of an Atlantic continent and known to the ancients as Atlantis. Number two, that the description of this island given by Plato is not fable and has been long supposed, but veritable history.
Oh.
Atlantis
Oh,
was the region where man first rose from a state of barbarism to civilization.
Oh.
That it became, in the course of ages, a populous and mighty nation from whose immigrants the shores of the Gulf of Mexico, the Mississippi River, the Amazon River, and the Pacific coast of South America, the
Hey.
Mediterranean, the west
Nice.
coast of Europe. Scream out if any country or place is interest of you. And Africa, the Baltic, the Black Sea, and the Caspian Sea were populated by civilized nations.
Nice.
He's talking that we are Atlanteans.
Oh, shit.
And I kind of gave it away, but I'll explain how, since I already did. No, none of it. There's been no Atlantean DNA discovered. You know, like if you know how we can tell through 23andMe that Jordan, you're not actually Scottish, you're mostly Greek.
Sure. Sure. Actually, I got my 23 back and it said that I'm mostly fructose.
There you go.
Mhm.
American boy, thicken through.
Thicken all the way through.
There's no evidence of DNA that would point us to Atlantis. And we know this, and I'll tell you about it in part 2. I'll skip around. Number 6, the gods of the Greeks, the Phoenicians, the Hindus, and the Scandinavians are actually kings, queens, and the heroes of Atlantis. And the acts attributed to them in mythology are a confused recollection of real historical events.
Yeah.
Same thing with Egypt and Peru, except both of those places are the original religion of Atlantis.
Oh. Well, there you have it.
And we're going to go into that next time.
Hell yeah.
One more. 8 through 13.
Okay.
Oh, I was hoping you would pick one. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Number 11.
9.
Number 9. That the implements of the Bronze Age of Europe were derived from Atlantis. And the Atlanteans were also the first manufacturers of iron.
Oh. Thanks, Atlanteans. We love iron.
And as we all know, there was a flood, supposedly. I'm not a big believer in the big one, but I do believe that when the Black Sea and Caspian Sea filled, it was horrifying and world-ending.
Yes, that makes sense.
So, the last persons escaping in ships and on rafts carried to the nations east and west the tidings of appalling catastrophe, which has survived to our own time in the flood and deluge legends of the different nations of the old and new worlds.
Okay.
And I think that's all we need to be caught up on for when I talk about everything else.
So come on back next week where we talk more Atlantis. Bring your flippers and snorkel.
The
dress
truth
for the
about
occasion. And I will be talking about the werewolves that come down from the moon this Wednesday to invade Cincinnati.
Jesus Christ,
So
coming
join
up
us,
with a
act
fire.
surprised, please. And Join us next week where we'll be talking about all of that. Until then, thank you so much for your continued support of the show. We love you guys. Please join us in our sign-off line on the count of 3 until next week. 1, 2, 3, punch
Punch the sky, Spaceman Joe.